Hey,
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Better, by the way. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can. Did you
You
see
can.
the new intro?
I did. I like it.
It looks good.
It looks
Yeah, Lee made it. Lee made that one. So good job, girl.
good job, Lee.
Yeah.
So, how is she doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good.
Hmm.
We just got off the serial killer show, so
Yeah. So is that going over pretty good? You like that show?
it is. It is. It's the special, but we kind of want to keep it, so we would love that to
Cool.
happen.
So you
Well,
guys
this
gonna?
week we have Shawn Ellis.
Yeah, Shawn Ellis. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, a friend of ours, and I'm gonna pull him up and let him tell you about himself. So here you go.
Yeah. Right on.
Hey, Shawn.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
All right, tell us everybody about you.
Well, I am the owner and founder of Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. I'm the lead investigator. I also have a talk show host or a podcast, whichever you want to call it, of my own as well. It comes on Sundays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have been taking shaman classes for about a little over a year and a half now. Do a little bit of Reiki. We've been on residentials for investigations and businesses, and we've done a lot of stuff.
Cool.
Been pretty busy, huh?
Yeah.
So I've always wondered about the what is it? The Reiki? Is that Reiki? Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm. Reiki.
Oh, what exactly
Reiki.
is that? Yeah.
Reiki is where you use energy to be able to help heal your body. You can use it to find things, as in with me, I can feel energy around me. I can put my hand out in the open and I can feel something if it's a bad spirit or a good spirit if it's standing next to me. I can divert bad energy into good energy when I'm around things instead of having a negative effect on me. Like some people can walk into a building and they get that heavy feeling, and all of a sudden they just got that you can't breathe. It doesn't affect me that much as like it does other people. My Reiki master, that was my mentor, bestowed what they call the Manaki rites. It's like an Indian ritual type deal. And it's the 9 rights that ground you to everything around you, and it helps balance you out. So that helps me out tremendously as well.
Right on. So what got you into this whole journey that you're on with the paranormal, regarding the paranormal?
When I was 21, my grandma passed away like that February of 90. Well, actually, it had been February 91. And I used to go to church all the time. I got baptized back then. And after she passed away, I had a dream, and I was sitting in that church where I'd go to church every Sunday. And she walked into that door like she was in her mid-20s. Well, when she got married to my grandpa, because she looked like the picture she had when she got married. She wasn't walking on a cane. She looked like she was normal. She wasn't sick. She wasn't ill. And she sat down beside me, and she also had a pennant with all the grandkids in it, her great grandkids and grandkids. She had their birthstone and a little crown she'd wear. And I sat down in the pew like I always do, and she sat down next to me, and she says, "Shawn, don't you ever worry about a thing." And ever since then, I would see things and etc. So that kind of started it. So
the whole thing. On the whole journey thing. Then, once somebody was just talking to me about this, where they go back a year. It actually is a good friend of mine. He was on the fence about the paranormal. He was a skeptic, but he didn't not believe, but he wasn't a 100% believer. And he had a couple experiences last year, and talking about how it's such a just a complete change of life, for you, like when you have an experience.
It is.
Like it takes one, to do it.
Yeah. By the time I kind of pushed some of it away. I kind of ignored it back then, never really paid a lot of attention to it. And then I got married in 94 and I got baptized again at that time. And when I was going through classes, I started seeing dreams and of things to come or things that had happened. And it kind of freaked me out.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things was when I was in class one day, the devil leaned over the top of the building and looked at me and says, "Where's your God now?" And that kind of freaked me out. And I had a couple friends that were preachers at the time. And he says, "You're one of the people that's in the Bible that says young men will dream dreams of yet to come. And you got that ability." And so then I shied away for a while because then I ended up having kids. And after they moved out of the house and I've been divorced for 20 some years, I started getting back into the paranormal and doing stuff, and ran into a Reiki master, which was on my former team, or not my former team, but I was on a former team. She was my mentor, and she started teaching me all sorts of stuff with Reiki and energy and crystals and all that stuff. And it came out to be a very good thing that she taught me. So.
Right on. So you mentioned the devil as one of your experiences. So what's your outlook on the whole demonic phenomenon? Out of curiosity, I always ask people that because.
Well, I think a lot of paranormal stuff it's rare to find something super demonic or along that lines. I can see like a bad spirit, a mischievous spirit, but I have seen some really odd and strong spirits in investigations that we've had to deal with before. But to be demonic, it would have to be something with a lot of energy or the type of ground it's on or buried or something tragic happened in that house where that energy is in there.
Right. So have you had any cases that you feel are demonic?
We had a case, and they were just talking about Gacy on serial killers here a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to send those guys the video of when I was on the old team. We teamed up with another team, but they found a body in a house that where I live at. And the other team was called in, and they were having kind of some differences trying to figure out what was in there. So they called the team I was on in to help them investigate. And we found out that there was papers of Gacy and Charles Manson in there. And also we found child pornography in there that was printed back in the day under alias name. And the spirit that was in the basement, we found out that it was trapping the younger spirits in there because we kept hearing over our super ears that we'd have the mics, we'd pick up the extra sensitive stuff. Murder, rape, kill.
Oh, wow.
And we noticed between me and another medium that was on the other team that it was following us around. So then we end up going and taking care of that one. And that was a pretty intense case because after we got rid of that spirit in there, we set a REM pod in the doorway. And when they crossed, we had the ovulus on it. And there's like 14 kids' names that we picked up at the time that walked through there was leaving.
Wow.
We took care of that.
Wow. Yeah, there's definitely human evil out there for sure. There's
most definitely.
Which matches, pretty much matches the evil of something demonic or very, very similar.
Yeah,
like a lot of these serial killers, like what Gwen show's been about. They are actual monsters in the flesh, And usually my theory is that they're getting aid from something of a higher nature that's evil. Usually,
Right.
a lot of the serial killers, like I used to live in Washington State, and you guys ever heard of Wesley Allen Dodd? You ever heard of him?
Not that often.
Wesley Allen Dodd.
Oh, I've heard the name, but I'm not.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a gunsmith, and he had a guy that he would deal with in Camas, Washington, and that's where Wesley Allen Dodd was active in abducting children and doing heinous things to them. And there was a little movie theater out that was there on Main Street, little teeny town. And I remember me and my brother were in the car out in front of the movie theater, and this movie theater is where Wesley Allen Dodd was getting his victims. And this guy walked up, and we had the doors locked, and I was probably 10 years old. My brother was probably 4 or 5, probably, and he was just going to run in and, be like 15 minutes or something. Well, this dude came up, he was looking through the windows, and acting all creepy, walking around the rig, and he kind of hung around for a minute, but then he looked up and he took off, and my dad was coming back to the car, and my dad, he wouldn't be one that wouldn't get caught abducting my dad's kids. Well, come to find out, that was Wesley Allen Dodd that was looking through the window of the car.
Oh,
yeah. About a week later, he was seen by this guy that had just gone off work. He was a logger, and he'd gone to go to the bathroom during like this movie that they're watching, and he saw him punch his kid in the stomach and pick him up real quick in the men's bathroom, try to take off with him, and that's how he was getting his victims. Well, the guy ran him down and beat the crap out of him and called the cops, and that was Wesley Allen Dodd. But he was one of the more just sinister, just beyond evil individual. Yeah, the things that he had done. And something that he said is that he thought that he was told by these spirits that he was talking to that when they hung him, he wouldn't die. Well, he died, of course. But it always, there's famous cases, like there's the son of Sam, pretty famous case, talking to the ancient spirit that called himself Sam, and he would be his son and all that. There's usually like a connection with these heinous, just sadistic killers, and they're always talking to something, it seems like, or communicating with something.
I noticed one thing. I've never seen a possession, like I said, and even Shane said, something demonic is pretty rare. But I have seen cases where people has got an attachment, and their whole personality just changes.
Oh yeah,
it's like when their energy level is so low, they'll pick this up, and then all of a sudden, their mentality, everything just changes, and it's like they're a whole different person for no reason.
Well, even with demonic cases, like there's the stages before possession, oppression, where their personality will change. It can affect their disposition, their moods, everything.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be possessed by a spirit, whether demonic or not, for it to affect your moods like that if you have a bad enough attachment going.
Yeah,
so no,
that's what
very, very, very true.
Yeah, and I noticed if you got higher the energy you got, the less likely you would ever get an attachment. Because, like I said, we've been with this pretty heavy focus.
Mention that same guy that was talking about his, the two experiences changed his whole outlook on it. He was talking about what makes people vulnerable to possession, and I think that like it must be almost like a more weak-minded person. I think that's unsure of their just emotionally weak. Like when you deal with any kind of paranormal phenomenon, you have to be very confident in your approach.
Right.
And you can't be weak at all. And I think that a lot of people they're mentally weak and vulnerable, I think. Because there's people that think that if you drink too much, you'll get you open your mind up to demons, they'll get you. I think it's just the people are just vulnerable because they're their weak state of mind, I think. And it's something that has to do with like a personality or just the way they are or something.
Yeah, I'll also have to say some of it might be occurring for the fact of a tragedy that happened to him, or something that put him in such a shock and put him in a different state of mind that will enable that next thought to be something totally different, and then they just keep following through with it.
Shane says, "Oh yeah, manifestation, infestation, oppression, and possession and obsession. The past 5
I think
years."
he's saying that there's been more in the last 5 years.
Oh yes, yeah, of course. But no,
That's
those
what
are
kept
states of demonic phenomenon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Their demons are very, very, very intelligent, very good at what they do too. They're very, very well thought out. They're different. They're different approaches, and usually it takes. He said the last 5 years, but yeah, it takes years usually for demonic spirits to gain possession of somebody. I thought that's what he was talking about at first. Systematically breaking their victims down. But yeah, demons are definitely something that is nothing to take lightly. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I've never really had an attachment or anything like that, but I had the spirit like a jinn follow me home from an investigation, and never realized it. And jinns are kind of sneaky,
Yeah.
They kind of like mischievous, and they can just be downright mean. But just in 1 week, my environment totally changed until I found out where it was at and where it was.
Yeah.
But lost my truck at the time, and about 3 days later, I lost my job, and for no reason. And I'm like, what is going on? And I happened to be sitting where I was looking at my wood grain doors, because I got wood grain doors in my house, and the wood grain would shift and change when I was sitting there looking at it. And I had to stop and I had to look, and I was like, is there something reflecting off here that's making it do this? So then I had to adjust myself and, debunk it. And every time I'd look, that grain in that wood would change. And I found out that's where it was watching me is from inside this object. And once I find
that to mess with you too, to make you think you're losing your mind, or
right,
like what the hell's going on? Yeah.
And once I found out what it was, I took care of it, and it's buried across the street in my yard, where there's a little spot about that big across the street that don't grow grass anymore.
Oh, goodness.
Not good fertilizer, huh?
No. But that's when
I've had some gnarly attachments before, some things that followed me back, and not for a long time though. It's weird. It's like when I was fairly new at this, I got a lot more attachments. Oh, Ringo, what do you come to say hi? Okay. What's up, buddy? Yeah, there's people, but with the mental illness and matches, I think you talk about the mental illness that kind of goes along with what could be demonic phenomenon. Yeah, no, there are a lot. There's a lot more of that on the rise. Demonic possession. We've discussed that a few times. That's something that's an entire very, very interesting thing to witness, to say the least. I don't see why people can be skeptical. There's a lot of people in the world of psychology, and they try to say, oh, well, maybe this is just a condition or a mental illness. No, man. I mean, if you witness the real deal, it's not. I mean, it's
right.
Something that there's no doubt in your mind. But I've had some pretty gnarly attachments. I don't really know if they were attachments, because the things didn't really follow me around long, but they definitely turned my world upside down, like what you're talking about, where everybody, including myself, had the worst day of their life that were even around.
Oh yeah.
The thing was, oh yeah.
I've known people that how do I say this? Just keep having bad luck constantly, and they don't know why. And I said, you've got to change your environment. You've got to change how you speak. You've got to change your attitude, because what you manifest keeps coming back to you tenfold if you don't change it. And the luck just keeps going downhill until you adapt to change to it.
Well, and a lot of it is too, like, a lot of it is how we view, or how positive that we view the outcome to be of things. They're discovering that consciousness has a lot more to do with our reality than what they even knew, and that's got to play a part in it. But I think it's like, well, if you piss some stuff off out there, I think you're going to have a hard time. I mean, that's just what I mean. I think I've been through that a few times, and I think everybody that does this has been through that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
But yeah, you have some off the wall stuff that doesn't even make sense. I mean, you got to question. You question like your sanity, because it's like, man, this can't, this cannot be happening, over and over again. But it seems, it does happen. It's real. So the whole, I don't know if that's a hex or what that is, I look at it like, I try to look for the more simple explanations and things. It's like, well, if you piss some things off that have that much power, they're going to be able to make your life, no pun intended.
Oh yeah, I will definitely agree with that, without a shadow of a doubt. If you go into, it's just like going into an investigation. If you go in there and mistreat the spirits, they're going to let you know about it. You go in there with a little bit of respect, because you don't know exactly what you're dealing with until you start getting the investigation going. And like I said, I've seen people get knocked down and the whole 9 yards before.
Oh yeah, I've seen people out loud say the wrong thing and have their lives completely and totally, utterly destroyed because they gave certain things permission to enter their bodies when they should.
Oh yeah.
Being skeptical, like going to a location and saying, "Hey, I give you the permission to enter my body. Go ahead," and something of that nature. And that can get, definitely something that people have to be respectful for, and understand that it's real. And people that are people that are always out to disprove this, what we do, that doesn't go good either. It's like, if how bad, how many actual skeptics are out there? That's my question. I don't think very many, because the paranormal phenomenon is quite common. Very few people, I think, have never had an experience that they haven't, remembered or recalled upon and thought, hey, that's kind of weird. So it's like, people get kind of, with their fear of accepting certain realities, they get careless, and they get, they don't have the respect they need. Let's say also, if you believe and trust in,
I'm sorry. Let me pop that back up. You go.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You will be evil. Well, the evil exists for sure. Without a doubt, and it exists in both the physical plane here and in the spirit world, whatever that may be.
Well, one thing I've learned since I've been in the paranormal field, and I don't think a lot of people really realize this, but the fact is, you have to learn the bad side, and you got to learn the good side. And you've got to maintain that balance, because it goes back to the terminology. If you ever come into contact with something, you fight fire with fire. You got to be able to understand what you're going into and how to take care of it one way or another.
100%.
But balance is the key, and to learn what you can, and just don't be one-sided, because if you know the other side, it makes you more knowledgeable.
Right, and be open-minded to about everything that you deal with. That's a big problem in the paranormal community, is people think their way is better than this person's way, and it's like, no, you can learn a lot from everybody.
Right, exactly.
We're all on the same side, and that's so unnecessary and damaging when people do that. There's certain things, like I take a complete scientific approach. Scientific, I love that, because it's not really, that's such a bogus term. Scientific. Scientific, things that we thought were
Yeah.
completely scientific 100 years ago, we found out are not. So,
Right.
I always say, there is a science behind what we do. We may not understand everything about it right now, but there is a science behind it. But people, I love that when they say, "Well, I take a science. I'm scientifically minded." Well, people used to think a lot of things were scientific 100 years ago. But no, I don't have any special or gifts like what we were discussing earlier. I was sensitive as a rock, basically. But I do have that instinct that everybody has, like when you go in and there's something really bad there, you can, you get that feeling of dread and all that. I think everybody gets that. But no, we all have something we can learn from each other for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And everybody's capable of doing it too. You just got to train your mind and be able to do it. You got to concentrate. You got to meditate. You got to start looking like from a different perspective. Like Pam says, you got to think out of the box sometimes in order to find the answers instead of being inside the box. It's like, oh, it's just this. But after you debunk it, and after you debunk it, then it's got to be something else because it's not explained. So now you got to figure out what it is.
Where did Gwen go? She lose connection? Or she just
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. No. For sure. And there's you want to debunk. Of course, you want to be the biggest critic or of your own evidence that you capture and what you present. But there's a lot of people out there that have very inadequate also explanations for a phenomenon. That doesn't really explain what's going on. I think it's a happy medium. This is scientific. And I mean it is a science, but but there are people that have these abilities that should be taken serious. I mean, our government takes it serious. They have viewers. I mean, they studied the paranormal for many years and they use it to this day. So it's an actual phenomenon. And I like how the mainstream scientific community, how they say there's not enough evidence to support the research in the paranormal. No, that's not true. I mean, I think we've collected enough evidence between all of us.
Oh yeah.
That there is something here that can be proven that's going on that is beyond the norm. And it's like it's so funny. It's like what's the stigma there? I mean, it makes me wonder. What is the big deal with recognizing that there are things out there that can be explained by conventional means and I just don't know what the big deal is. I mean, it's kind of like there's a stagnant barrier put up there, when it comes to mainstream science and the paranormal.
Well, one of the things that I like doing the best is I do like going out on investigations. And one of the things I do is debunk. And whenever I'm out, I always do it live so people can see exactly what's going on when it happens. So they can't say, okay, it's been tampered with. Also, when I do my talk shows, being able to talk to everybody from everywhere and learning from them as well when we're having conversations on our show, why does some people want to keep their stuff and hide it from everybody else? And if they would share it, somebody else might have the piece that they're looking for to go along with what they got and end up solving some of this stuff.
Just my personal opinion, I think that they're trying to make money. I mean, they're hoping to make money off of it. Like everything that I've ever captured, I've always opened it up to public and other researchers. Anybody can ask me for anything, and I'll send them the raw files to it. But there's people that hang on to that. They get something and they want to market it. I think a little bit.
Right.
But I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just what I think.
That's one thing that I've always said, I want to help the people understand what's going on. But there is one thing, the paranormal field, I don't think people understand that it's expensive. It's very expensive. The equipment we got to use and the programs we got to use to bring our shows and stuff, it's expensive.
Sure.
And it would be nice to have a little bit of money coming in so we can bring these shows.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm saying. But these people, they're wanting to like hold it back and
oh yeah,
like
right.
audio. Okay, like there's certain people, there's individuals. I mean, I won't say names, but I mean, I know about everybody in the field, in the community. A lot of famous people that do this, and they'll get a piece of evidence and they'll tease it and they'll make a documentary about it, and which that's all fine and good, but at the end of the day, those people seem to be they don't want growth in the field. It seems like right. It's more about financial. Which I mean, it would be great to have sponsors that to get to go to locations and not have to pay.
Yeah,
for it,
it would be
non-profit thing, and it does cost money and it does take time that a lot of people can't sacrifice, and it's only pure passion that keeps a lot of us here.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. Like I said, if it comes down to an elderly person or a child or anything, and like I said, even if I go out on investigations to residents, I never charge them a thing. I don't do it for the money. I do it to learn. I do it to find out what's there.
Right.
And and to teach.
Oh no,
yeah,
sorry.
And to teach, the ones I work with, because I have some rookies on my team now, that to teach them so they can pass it on. Right.
No, I mean, I've never made a dime doing this, and a lot of us haven't. A lot of this is more costs us money and time, but it's something that I myself enjoy. I'm pretty sure all of us do here, or we want to be doing that. And it's not the money has nothing to do with it. It's not a hobby. It's a passion, and it's an interest in a way of life for a lot of us. But it would be great to have some of those tools, to expand what we're able to do on our own. Definitely.
Right. Definitely. I agree.
But it's when I got getting into this, it's like what can we do to further expand the field? And that's what it seems like. There's a lot of turmoil. I don't know if it's still as chaotic as it used to be in the field, but
paradrama.
Yeah,
paradrama, exactly.
Yeah, and it really makes what we do look bad. It's like how can but there's always going to be that, I guess, to an extent. Hopefully something bad.
I wish that paradrama would quit, because like I said, if we got more people that would actually work together, who knows what we would uncover.
Exactly.
Instead of just
not a
being the way they are.
We're all on the same team. Last time anyway. Is that my phone? Somebody's phone's ringing. Oh, it's mine.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna take a minute and say, Shane, Angie, Pam, Victor.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, everybody. I know some other people that aren't commenting, but thank you guys all for joining.
Thank you all. It's not time to quit yet, is it? No.
Oh no! But I just saw we were getting a few. There's folks on here that are not commenting, but they're watching too, and I know they are. But I won't call them out.
Right.
Well, so but it's very fascinating. Like I said, I can't say it enough. It's very fascinating field of research, and I think there's big things coming on the horizon for us all, and but no, helping people's the main goal.
Yes.
Exactly.
The only for about 15 years now, we've specialized in cases where people are not dealing with something good, and it's been very rewarding, to be, maybe a tool used, or part of that, helping people out, and learning down the road these people really that they really resolve their problems, and it's good. That's more rewarding than any amount of money, really.
When I formed this team, one of the first investigations that my team did, we had an elderly lady. She was having some issues, and we went in there, and she was so nervous that we were going to find something bad. She thought we were going to find something bad in her house. So we went in there, we started investigating, we set up our stuff, and we started getting stuff over the Ovilus speaking and stuff. And it would say demon, this, that, etc. And we started putting two to two together that we found out it was a couple kids' spirits in there. And they were just trying to mimic and scare you.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said some of the things she said would happen. She would hear the cabinet doors close, or she'd feel a tug on her leg. So we started linking all the pieces together. And she was sitting in the kitchen, and I was talking to her, and the rest of the team was back there investigating in the back part of her house. And so finally she says, "Can I go back there and talk to him?" I was like, "Okay." So I got her up, and she got off her walker, and I walked her back to the back place where all the team was, where they were getting the most activity. And she goes, "Hello." And it goes, "Hi." That's what it come over. And then it goes, "Old." And she goes, "I'm not old." And she says, "You guys, if you guys behave, you can stay." And they go, "Okay." So she was sitting there, and we kept getting some other things over the Ovilus, and it was talking back. And she decided to walk back up to the kitchen, and I was sitting there with her. And she goes, "Shawn," she said, "what are you going to do with those two?" And I said, "Well, what would you like me to do?" And she said, "Well, as long as they behave, they can stay." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, one thing you got to remember," I said, "they're little kids. So that tug on your leg you've been feeling, or the cabinet doors and the knocking on the walls, they're just wanting attention, and you to acknowledge them, because they're kids. They're kids that passed away in there, or something happened to them there." Yep. And anyway, I said, "Why don't you play some music during the day?" And she goes, "Oh, I do that all the time." And I said, "Open up a kid's book sometime and just sit there and read it to them, just to let them know you kind of acknowledge them a little bit." And she goes, "I can do that." So anyway, by the time we left, she gave us all a hug, and she goes, "If I have a problem, I know I'm going to call you." And I said, "Okay." So it went about a week, and I went to her house again, and I knocked on the door, and I said, "Hey," I said, "how's things going?" She goes, "Oh, Shawn," she said, "thank you for coming over and having your team come here." She says, "I feel more at peace now." She said, "I was about ready to sell my house because it was going crazy, and I didn't understand what was going here. But," she says, "I'm going to stay here. I know what's going on here." And I tell you what, that's the best payment in the world, being able to help somebody do that.
So that's good that you check back in with your with clients and stuff. There's a lot of, I know investigators that don't do that. I was going to ask you, like, do you check back in with them? And but so that resolved everything then, for the most part.
It did.
Well, so I have been telling Shawn about something that your evidence of the Wendigo.
Myself, yeah, okay,
yeah. I told him about that because I think it's just awesome that you called that.
Pretty dramatic, that's for sure.
Would you mind if I played it?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Shawn, you good with that?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, no, I'm not sure. Maybe he can answer it. I mean, for Wendigo, but
why don't you set it up and tell him what you guys were doing, that kind of thing.
Well, what we were doing was, I heard about this town it was abandoned back in the early 1900s, and for reasons unknown. And years later, these loggers were logging up at the location, and they encountered something that pretty disturbing, that made it to where they wouldn't go back. They abandoned all their equipment. They wouldn't go back up there and get it. And they wouldn't even talk about what had happened, except for one of them made a statement. They said that some evil chased them away. So I said, okay, I got to find this place. I got to check this out. And there's like all kinds of legends about this location, that it was cursed, all kinds of stuff, because it was a thriving town back, late 1800s. But then for reasons unknown, everybody abandoned it. Mm-hmm. And so we went to location, and I guess the audio kind of speaks for itself. It's up in the middle of nowhere. so I was armed. You'll hear a gunshot in the video, and kind of, you know, I'm trying to scare something that I thought was alive away, but I wasn't alive.
Wow.
But yeah, so I found out what scared the loggers away anyway. If you want to go ahead and play the audio.
Ready? All right, here we go.
Okay, well, let's leave this stuff recording here. Okay? Thank you, Fido.
You heard that?
Yeah?
That's fucking crazy.
What is? Oh, yeah, it's because the boogeyman's here. Happens about every time. Whoa! Hang on! Stop, hang on.
Wow.
Some really interesting aspects about that video, or I mean audio.
I think it's awesome. I just can't. I listen to it often.
Well, the first thing that you ought to know is like the audio device was behind us up on a hill. So the thundering of feet that you hear run past it, that's not us. That's something else. When that happened, the clip doesn't give it justice because it was so loud in person that the first initial howl that I thought was a wolf, you know, it vibrated me. It was so loud, it sounded like a siren going off. It was so loud behind me. And I remember turning, and I had a shotgun with a light on it, and there was like this black smoky fog stuff kind of blocked the light out, which I later captured on video at a different investigation up there. I fired because I was trying to scare off what it was there, and there's a pause, and you hear all the screams and the howls. Which was weird is that
Right.
The people with me, they ran ahead of me. I was kind of like turned around backwards like this, kind of looking behind me, and the screams were close enough. I was like ducking down. They were like loud enough they were hurting my ears. And when they were going to leave me, the car fired up and they started to back out, but then they stopped. Thank God, you know, because I mean that would suck. Well, I got back to the vehicle. The second I touched the door handle of the vehicle, it stopped. It all stopped, like instantly. And then there's extended audio
Wow.
too of that. When it's sitting up there for a half hour and there's something that comes up to where the audio device is, no one's ever heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there's.
Did you have when that vibration? You said when you on that first howl, you said it kind of jolted you a little bit. Do you think they had an infrasound structure that did it make you sick?
You know, it didn't make me sick, but it was so loud. It was like bass, like in a car stereo. Like if somebody's got a lot of bass in their car, how it vibrates when the bass hits.
Right.
It felt like that.
Mm-hmm. Because I've heard people talk, like Pam said, that Bigfoot and stuff like that, they have like a sonic wave or a holler that actually makes you either feel sick, makes you feel dizzy or something.
Could be, you know, a physical animal, but this wasn't anything physical because there wasn't anything physical there. And two, I've done a lot of follow-up investigations at the location, and there seems to be something spiritual, but whatever it is, it's something different. It's very strange. There's very interesting though. There's a documentary. There's a guy that does the 411. Do you guys ever heard of that? Dave Politis. He does.
Mhm.
There's cases of the former where they disappear, people disappear, and then they're never found. But there's odd things that happen, like they'll find their clothes folded, and just there's no explanation for like where these people went, or if they're ever found, they'll be found miles away from where they disappeared, and months later, and
Right.
it's very, very weird stuff. There was
Did you read what Pam said?
No, what would you say?
She said, could it have been?
No, I'm not sure about the portal thing, but the way that the location is very, very odd. Things don't sound like when you're there, it almost sounds like you're in an amphitheater. I think that's maybe what she's talking about, the echo, which doesn't make any sense because there's no real reason for it. I know that there's a Native American, a lot of Native American folklore there. That there's a lot of legends there about something that they worship there, some kind of
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that to this day they worship, I guess. I don't know.
Have you been back there before? Have you been back?
Yeah, I've been back there a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chad, is that where the hitchhiker? Is that where y'all? That's not where y'all picked that hitchhiker up, is it?
No, that hitchhiker was a different location. But that's interesting as well. If you want to play that one, that one's bizarre because
I do that.
Yeah, I mean that's just a couple miles from here, and I really looked into what this. We had our audio anyway. After the investigation, I didn't realize it, but my audio was still running, and we got in the vehicle and we're talking, and then there's a third voice that starts talking that we didn't hear at the time, and I looked into what it was. It's not speaking English most of the time, but it's speaking. It says a couple things in English, but it's speaking what appears to be ancient Sumerian. Very interesting. It says his name at the end of the audio, but you can play the clip. This is kind of a bizarre one.
Yeah. You ready?
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, my phone's still doing cold in church fast right now.
Oh, church fast?
Yeah, it's because it's so cold.
Are we moving? Are we crazy along? No.
Yeah, my phone's still doing cold in church fast right now.
Oh, church fast?
Yeah, it's because it's so cold.
Are we moving? Are we crazy along? No.
Over again.
Yeah.
Third time.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to start third time, but yeah, I was trying to get it. So, could you hear it, Shawn?
Yeah, it sounds like just faint talking in the background, definitely for sure.
Well, there's a lot of drawn out, kind of like something trying to sound scarier than trying to sound foreboding.
Right.
At one point it goes nah that thing it does.
Mm-hmm.
That is
yeah.
Sumerian for herder of herders or something like that, and then it says firebird herd at the end, and that's Sumerian. It's the only word that we could identify that it was saying. Other than that, so at one point he goes, "That's pretty," which doesn't make any sense. But if you listen, play it one more time. Can you make it a little louder, Gwen? by chance?
Let me see. Hang on.
Yeah, that
Really odd because the location doesn't have anything. I mean, for something to be speaking Sumerian there, and I looked up the entity Firebird, and it's
Right.
actual. Yeah, it's weird, very weird. Long way from home kind of deal, you know.
All right.
Wow.
Let me try. I'm not sure. You may, if you can cut it up on your side, it may help. But
Okay.
Yeah, my phone's still doing cold in church fast right now.
I don't church fast.
Yeah, it's because it's so cold.
Are we moving? Are we creeping along? No. Night. Carter, I don't want to go to
Yeah, my phone's still doing cold in church fast right now.
I don't church fast.
all right. Can you hear?
Was there like a is there any Indian stuff like Pam saying around that area?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there is absolutely. Yeah.
Because I kind of agree with Pam with that. It almost sounds like a shaman saying something, or like
there's
he's
a
trying to
photograph
speak.
that was taken at the location, and there's an apparition capture that it looks like something with a native headdress on almost. It's very, very. I mean, it could be, and the location has got a lot of Native American history. Yeah, it's the whole location does.
It almost sounds like a shaman or somebody kind of trying to communicate. It'd be great if you. It would be almost great if you could find somebody to pull your voices off that tape and leave that background voice if it's possible.
I'm gonna try. I just thought about that.
And listen to that, because the way it sounds like it almost sounds like Indian to me.
Does it? Okay, well,
Yeah.
If you could, and any of those clips, you can do whatever you want with them, Gwen. You can
Okay.
find somebody that can clear them up or clean them up.
I will. I have some software that can do some things. I just did some stuff for Shawn. Let me see
There's
if it'll
a lot of
divide the
native-
different sounds up.
A lot of Native history.
Yeah, that would be
This
awesome.
whole region here. Yeah.
Yeah, he lives. I forget where. I don't know the town, but he did.
I live in Wasco, Oregon. Like right along where the Oregon Trail was, little town, pretty much a ghost town. A lot of history here.
Right.
Yeah, in the surrounding areas, lots of Native history.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Pam on that. It almost sounds like Indian and shaman sound to me, like the way the way they draw out when they used to talk a little bit, because the pronunciation of the words, and like you said, you could hear that, and you could hear that certain words just good, and then all of a sudden the other ones were kind of drawn out, like etc. But it'd be great if you could clear that up.
Yeah,
I'll try to do that.
Is I always present my audio or my evidence like a very raw, unedited, unfiltered state, So so I don't really know how to do a lot of that. But if you could know somebody who does, that'd be great. You guys can do that.
I will try. If I can't, I think I know somebody that might can help us a little bit at least.
Yeah. But
if you get that done, I'd kind of hear the afterwards.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Pam said this language was spoken in now in Iraq. Okay.
Are you talking about Sumerian? Talking about ancient Sumerian. That's probably what you're talking about. Well, the only reason we linked to the ancient Sumerian is because of the not like the one thing it said that was kind of odd that, we entered, what does not mean, and it was like it linked back to ancient Sumerian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and the name Firebird, but that's a very native sounding name as well. I mean, I think anyway.
It is. Right.
Yeah.
And even the pronunciation of nah, and even the pronunciation of nah, like you said, Indians could have used that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
To describe something they.
And the photograph.
Yeah.
I wish I had it. I could throw it. Get it up here. But actually, I do have it, but I don't know right where it's at for sure. But several photographs of this entity that looked like it had some kind of headdress and like a very interesting photograph. It was really interesting. It was of an apparition and the exact same location. So it wasn't the location that this was captured, but it was the one previous.
Pam is asking, what is that you hear it say?
What? Oh,
not
or not something like that. Not something like that. Very similar.
Well, guys, it is coming up on an hour, believe it or not.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Shane, not Shane, excuse me. Good Lord, Shane was on here. Shawn, thank you for coming, too, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, no, good to meet you. Yeah, always a pleasure. Well, okay, I guess that's one more for the book, huh?
Yeah. Doesn't seem like an hour even close to me.
No, it doesn't. Well, hopefully, let's see, by next week we'll maybe we'll have some other stuff to play on the show. We'll see.
That'd be cool. Send me anything and I'll fix it up so we can put it on.
Well, there's an investigation we have coming up that, hopefully before the next show that might be interesting. It sounds pretty interesting. So we'll see.
That'd be cool.
But always good to meet new people, and you got a show on the network as well, huh?
Not on this one. I'm trying to.
Oh,
yeah. I'm trying. Look at him. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Go check it out, sir. I'm gonna go check it out.
All right. Well, Shawn, you want to tell everybody how to reach you?
You can find me on Facebook under Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal, and I also have the talk show on there as well. We go live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And this Sunday coming up, I got a Haunted Souls Paranormal. I'll be talking to those guys for the first show of the new year.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you again. I'm going to take you down, and I'm going to let Chad take us out.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Fun show. Well, okay. Well, thank you to everybody that joined. Thank you, Gwen, for sitting in and
always
babysitting us.
Oh yeah, send me any stuff, and I'll figure out how to put it on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. I'll send you some new stuff to play. Interesting stuff. These fascinating cases. The Liberty Bond one definitely is fascinating. The howling and all that. That is definitely that one I hear a lot about. It's been I've let a lot of people air that, and a lot of people seem to share that opinion. That's pretty interesting.
Well, it was so interesting that I did mention it to him. That's what I said. But I hadn't thought about splitting up the audio. I will definitely try.
Yeah. So if you have something that could do that, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you sign us out, so we won't run over too much.
All righty. Okay. What are we over? Oh, not yet, right?
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We can.
Alrighty. Well, okay. We'll tune in next time. Hopefully, we're gonna have something better, or fun. Anybody listen to next time, or discuss. Tell EST, and thank you for joining. This is Chasing Nightmares. Chad Zumwalt.
Yeah.
See you.
Good night.
Good night.
I got to get here, guys. I'm sorry. There it is. Well,
Well, you know.
it's going.